Happy Friday! Woohoo! The week has flown by. It's fantastic. It's Friday already. Certainly not complaining. So what's happened in the social media world this week? Well, on today's show, we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. They've gone all Snapchat on us. Seriously, they have. Hold on one second. I just need to unlock my Facebook account. Okay, that's done. Little bit of Facebook news. Interesting. Lots and lots of Instagram news. That's dominating today's show. Instagram are. Something on Pinterest. Small little announcement by WhatsApp. And we will talk about what the app of the week is, and even the buds that translate languages in real time. Yeah, earbuds that translate languages in real time. What am I talking about? Let's find out. Let's dive into today's show. First things first, LinkedIn. Interesting. They're testing a new Snapchat-like feature. They're testing geo filters on their mobile device. So the ability to literally swipe left and select a geo filter on your LinkedIn app. Now this is something designed for conferences and events. So say you're at a big event like 3XE, which is coming up soon in Dublin, and we may be on LinkedIn in the near future, and when we're at the 3XE event, be able to swipe and actually select the 3XE tab when we post a photo up on LinkedIn. So they've described it like conference badges. So essentially the ability to put a conference badge on your photo that you share on LinkedIn. It kind of makes sense. Kind of like a cool idea. And apparently there's going to be options, so if I'm a speaker I can actually say 3XE and put speaker on my badge, on my photo that I share on LinkedIn. So I think it's a good announcement by LinkedIn. It kind of makes sense. It's only test mode at the moment, so they're going to be selecting certain conferences and events to try this geo filter out on. But there you go. I never would have thought LinkedIn would go all Snapchat on us. But there you go, they have. So, good move. Good move, LinkedIn. I like the idea of that. Let's move on. Let's give you a small, tiny bit of news, right? And then we'll get to some other cool stuff. WhatsApp have announced that they're creating their own emojis. So essentially, when you're on WhatsApp, you're going to use their own emojis, not just the standard ones. I thought this was very interesting until I read more about it and even looked at some of the emojis that they've created. And it kind of reminded me of a spot the difference competition, because quite frankly, I could barely notice the difference between the WhatsApp emoji and the standard emoji. But there is very small, subtle differences. So WhatsApp launching their own emojis. Bad news is they look identical to the other ones. Let's talk about Instagram, because quite a lot is going on in the Instagram world this week. And one thing that I did read, which I thought was interesting, you've probably heard of Instagram shopping tags. So these are essentially tags in the future that we're going to be using on Instagram, that we can click into a product on our mobile phone on Instagram and buy that product instantly. So these are Instagram shopping tags. They've been talked about a lot, and on Instagram have been testing them. Well, apparently they've got a deal done at the moment with Shopify, and some Shopify customers literally in the coming months are going to have the ability to add their tags, probably to their ads, but certainly but on Instagram anyway, where people can literally see real-time information on the product that's being advertised on Instagram, actually, and click and pay for that product directly from the Instagram news feed. So Instagram shopping tags are finally starting to roll out, and they're going to be out certainly come November for some Shopify customers. So another e-commerce step forward for Instagram. Well, that's coming down the line, but what's actually happened? There's a few interesting things that have happened on Instagram that we can all see. Something I noticed during the week is I was on Instagram.com on my desktop. Very controversial, I know, but I noticed that Instagram stories are viewable on desktop. I hadn't noticed it before. So I can actually now not only see what's happening on my Instagram feed on desktop, but I can also consume Instagram stories on my Instagram newsfeed. There you go. Quite interesting. It's probably a good idea to start to pay attention to what other companies' stories are doing and seeing what you like for your own strategy. And we can now do that on desktop. The other thing that I noticed this week is when I was putting something up on Instagram, now on a personal Instagram account this is, so I don't believe this works on a business page, but my personal Instagram account, when I was putting something up on my story and I clicked next, it gives me the ability to post my update that I'm sending to my Instagram story to my Facebook story as well. So Facebook stories haven't taken off yet, and I think that this is a very good move by Instagram to try to encourage us not only to create a story on Instagram, but also create the story on Facebook as well. And I suppose they're betting on the fact that people will put more of that content on Facebook because they're already creating on Instagram. It's just another thing to tick. So will that work for Facebook stories? We will find out. I think the big win will be if they roll that feature out for Instagram business pages and roll out the Facebook story feature for brands, because I think brands will shamelessly want to share their stories in as many places they can get it to. So I think this may be even a test before Facebook stories come to business pages, and then I think that option will be a very, very welcome one. So all that Instagram stories. There was nothing else that happened on Instagram this week, was there? Of course there was. Instagram polls within stories is probably the most talked about news this week. So the ability, when I'm adding a picture on Instagram as to paste to my story, to turn that picture, or to even create a standalone poll within Instagram stories, a poll that people can actually engage with. So they're trying to make Instagram stories more engaging. So I can take a photograph on Instagram and I can click into the stickers section and I'll see a little sticker called poll, and you can create a sticker poll where people can vote yes or no for the question or the scenario that you're posing to them. So just a nice cool way of adding an element of interaction to your Instagram stories. It's a brilliant idea, and definitely something I think brands can leverage to generate more engagement through their Instagram stories. So Instagram polls have come to town in a sticker poll format. Big news? Well, we're trying out. What else happened in the world of social media? It was actually last week I read this. It was Friday, but it was after I did the live stream. I was reading an article, I believe it was on TechCrunch, talking about Facebook announcing that they're testing the ability to unlock your Facebook account with your face. So facial recognition unlocking through the camera on your phone or device. Pretty interesting. So I kind of think that's kind of futuristic, cool stuff. But yeah, in the near future, we should be able to unlock our Facebook account with our face, so no one else can frape us. They can't. And apparently, we can only unlock our Instagram account with our face on a device that we've already use, so that we've logged into with our username and password. So we couldn't have some guy yielding an axe, putting their phone to our face to the phone to try to get into our account. They could grab our phone, and then we're in trouble. But facial recognition unlocking on Facebook. Interesting that they're testing that. Something else that happened this week for our Pinterest fans is they announced Pinterest are now supporting hashtags. They didn't work on Pinterest in the past, but apparently now they are supporting hashtags, and they are saying, we recommend that Pinterest users use hashtags and use no more than 20 hashtags per pin, which would seem like a hell of a lot of hashtags to me. But we probably should take the same methodology that we'd apply to Instagram of certainly trying to now, for using Pinterest, they're going to start to leverage hashtags, maybe trying to add 5 to 10 hashtags for each pin that we put up. It may not take off, but it's definitely something that they're rolling out. And hashtags are supported on Pinterest for the first time. There you go. There was also a study I was reading. It was a company called Media Kix, Kix, during the week, talking about the decline of Snapchat for influencers. They looked at 12 key influencers in the US and found that they were, maybe unsurprisingly, abandoning Snapchat and jumping onto Instagram stories. And in fact, their activity on Snapchat had declined by a third, or 33%, in the last 6 months. So again, more evidence that Instagram is winning the battle or the fight with Snapchat. But heck, talking of Snapchat, did you hear about their augmented reality art exhibition? Did you? Snapchat, an artist called Jeff Koons, a US artist, Snapchat have created essentially the first ever augmented reality art exhibition with this guy's art. You can check art.snapchat.com out for more information on this, but essentially this is using our Snapchat camera, different locations around the world, so from Sydney to Rio de Janeiro to Hyde Park in London. I can literally use my Snapchat camera, a bit like Pokemon. It directs me to where the art is. I hold up my camera and I can view this beautiful piece of art next to the Sydney Opera House. Now, quite frankly, I don't like his art, but the beautiful art we can see through our Snapchat camera. So this whole ability to create, I suppose, virtual, global, augmented reality art exhibitions in amazing places. Really interesting technology that Snapchat's using and developing. And you can't help but think, even though if you go to art.snapchat.com, they're saying artists wanted, you can apply for an augmented reality art exhibition on Snapchat, but you have to think this is all about advertising. So this is the first step now in, rather than having to find a billboard, I don't need a billboard anymore to advertise my stuff in physical locations, because through augmented reality, Coke, that is it, or it's it, or whatever the Coke slogan is, I can physically see through my camera lens through augmented reality. So we're heading into a very, very interesting world there, and at the moment Snapchat is still leading the way on this. Fair play to you guys. Wrapping up then, we usually cool tool app of the week, something like that we do. Two things very quickly. Google Pixel Buds. I think it's Google Pixel Buds. I was reading about during the week. These are essentially buds that we can put into our ear that essentially will translate what someone is saying to me in another language in real time. So if I'm listening to you and you're speaking Mandarin to me, apparently within 1 to 2 seconds of you finishing the sentence, these earbuds will translate what you said to me. So I'll be able to understand you. And in fact, this device is able to translate in real time in 40 different languages. So it's the Google Pixel Buds. They would sound really expensive though, wouldn't they be? Really expensive. They're not. Surprisingly, they're rolling out in November, and the price that I read that they've been quoted is, I think it's $159, which to me doesn't sound like crazy amounts of money for something which is quite groundbreaking. So, you know, when you think about it, even I could be an emergency person, drive an emergency ambulance or something. We could get to a destination, someone could be there, they don't speak English. Essentially, I could have these things and I could actually understand what people are saying. Like, blows my mind, this stuff does. So Google Pixel Buds coming online come November. Maybe not the most useful tool, but cool nonetheless. So let me give you another site that you might want to look at. Infographics, not a massive fan of them, but they can be a great way to showcase data and results. There's a site, there's loads of them, but there's a site called Easel.ly. So it's EASEL.ly. And essentially, it allows you to create very cool infographics. Its pro account is $3 a month. So if you really wanted to create decent infographics for $3 a month, this is a good site to check out. It's Easel.ly. So EASEL.ly. Check it out and get some infographics done up. That's it for this week. It's Friday. I love Fridays. Have an amazing weekend, guys. I will see you next Friday. Take care. And in fact, next Friday, I think I'm going to have a ticket or two to give away to 3XC Digital. So don't forget to tune in next week. So for me, Greg Fry, it's a teary goodbye, but a happy Friday and a great weekend. Take care.